Casey has been a very wonderful, caring mother, and I've never seen anything to not believe her.
Isn't that who you were, her daughter is? Correct.
It appears to the court you care so little for your child, you did not even report her missing until 5 weeks later.
She's going to continue down the same road with a woman that doesn't exist, phone numbers that come back are disconnected, addresses that people haven't been living in months. She steals a car, leaves it in a part of town where she was supposed to be in another part of town. Everything is a lie.
How come everybody's saying that you're not upset, that you're not crying, that you show no caring of where she is? Because I'm not sitting here crying every 2 seconds because I have to stay composed.
Back to John Morgan, attorney for Zenaida Gonzalez, who deposed the Anthony family private eye today. So the private eye says he gets a tip where the body is. This is before police find out about it. He goes to the location where, in fact, the body was discovered a couple of weeks later. Now, when I read the deposition, he's saying he won't, you can't find out who gave the tip. He alludes to a psychic. Mr. Morgan, why do you believe the tip came from Lee Anthony?
Well, I don't necessarily believe that. What I said was, I asked the other private eye today, I said, did Dominic Casey ever tell you who gave the tip? He said, no, he didn't. I said, well, who do you think gave the tip? And he said, I believe Lee Anthony, or something to that effect, low probability Lee Anthony, and then he kind of waffled on it. But the Dominic Casey would never tell him, even though they're out there for 2 days, who gave him this tip, although they drove directly. I mean, I'm talking about straight to where the body was ultimately found.
Out to the line, Susan in Virginia. Hi, Susan.
Hi. First of all, Nancy, I just wanted to say I love the fact that you're willing to ask the tough questions and stand up for those who can no longer fight for themselves.
Thank you.
The question that I have is, since Kaylee's remains were found, where is Lee Anthony? Why is he no longer visiting his sister? Why doesn't he show up at court appearances? It's almost as if he doesn't want anything to do with her anymore. Why is that?
To Steve Helen with People Magazine, what do you think? What do you know, Steve?
Well, I wouldn't say that he doesn't want anything to do with her, but I would say that at this point he knows anything that he does or says to her when he goes to the jail is going to be recorded, and it's going to come out in the news, and he's not ready for that to happen. And also, he is actually working. He is not living in Orlando. He's working, and the scheduling does not work out.
Joining right now, Dr. Karen Stark, psychologist in New York. Karen, what do you make of the courtroom today?
Well, what I make of it, Nancy, is that in the end, Zenaida Gonzalez was not really mentioned in that family. So here we had this whole elaborate saying that, she took the baby and it was all about her, but the family wasn't looking for her at all. So you would think that nobody really believed that story in the family.
And what do you make of the smirking and the antics in court today?
Regressive behavior. Bias was really trying to bait the prosecutor. And the sad thing is that the prosecutor fell for it. That's not what's supposed to be happening. He wanted to get him angry, and he did.
Well, you know what? Maybe Kirby Clements and Sanchez did have a point earlier. I want to go now to Dr. Joshua Perper, Chief Medical Examiner at Broward County, author of When to Call the Doctor. Dr. Perper, as always, it's an honor to have you with us tonight.
Thank you.
Dr. Perper, I was going through the state's witness list, and I see the name Dr. Arpad Vass from Oak Ridge Labs. Who is he? Are you familiar with his work?
Not really.
I'm trying to determine whether he is the expert on the air sample evidence. Have you ever been in a trial where they use the air sample evidence?
Well, sometimes it's used in cases of carbon monoxide poisoning to determine the extent of the carbon monoxide in the room, but not in regard to chloroform or other toxic gases.
And Dr. Perper, a question that keeps arising, if Kelly had been administered chloroform or some other type of sedative over an extended period of time, would that show up in her hair?
In my opinion, it's very unlikely, but because now they can detect some byproducts of chloroform, perhaps ghost might be detected, though I greatly doubt.
With me, Dr. Joshua Perper joining us out of Miami. Before we go to break, we were taking your calls live, but I want to tell you about a missing woman Hollywood. Take a listen.
I just want to find